Ladies and gentlemen, thieves and crooks, hoodlums of all ages, I am the Comic Outlaw. Coming to you live and loud from parts unknown. It's my Halloween special, y'all. And this one's for anyone 18 and up. We have mature themes of blood, guts, violence, and a little bit of sex. So if you're not above 18, take your little poobert ass out of here and read some Superman. Because we're doing Ash versus Freddy versus Jason. Oh, hell yes. Yes, I've been wanting to do this for a while. This should be the movie. Robert Englund, Bruce Campbell, somebody somewhere make this happen. But anyways, I love how this world, everything just kind of collides. S-Mart is actually located around Camp Crystal Lake, and as much as you may hate or dismiss or even sort of like some people do Jason Goes to Hell, that man was the one that kind of brought everything together, and it led into Jason versus Freddy. Going over a little brief origin right here of Freddy and Jason. You know, just a little overview, their little rumble they had a few years back. You know, just covering all the basics of our two horror movie friends. And these two are the biggest fucking idiots of the whole score. I'm not even going to give them names. I'm just calling them Dumbass 1 and Dumbass 2. The two people that were lucky enough to survive Freddy versus Jason. Because they're stupid enough to come back to Camp Crystal Lake and just to see if they're dead. What kind of freaking idiots would do something like that? I mean, like, you survive once, be grateful, and get the hell away. Don't go back. Don't ever fucking go back. But anyways, they go back, and surprise, surprise, her boyfriend disappears. She runs into one of the cabins, and you know what she finds? Can you guess what she finds? She finds Will disemboweled and hung up. And as she is her eyes full of tears, realizing the mistake she made, Jason comes in ready for some blood. And Jason's takes a swing at her and misses. Now I love the artist, and I love the feel of this. It gives you that idea of a true 80s horror movie. And I love how Jason's just an unstoppable killing machine. He grabs the rebarb, throws it at her arm. Of course, she screams out in pain. And you gotta wonder, at this point, she's realized how bad she's fucked up. I mean, these guys never die. Villains don't die. We multiply. And as she's trying to get away from Jason, of course, blood leaking everywhere. Jason right behind her, slowly but surely. That's kind of Jason's way. She struggles to survive, and I cannot believe she went back. And I love how Bruce Campbell, or Ash, is actually narrating this. I mean, like, Bruce Campbell, Ash, they're one and the same to me. And of course, she grabs a saw, takes a swing at Jason. You gotta admire her tenacity. One swing, once in the back. But that's not enough to stop our Jason. Oh no. Our boy is a lot tougher than that. Even after being thrown out a window. How about that? And I love how they have to go down and check to make sure the dude's dead. Well, curiosity skinned the cat. Well, more like a machete right through her skull, but we'll call that that. You gotta love the art. I mean, this is like a true slasher comic. I love everything about this. And here we go. Jason's on his merry little way. But he has someone leading him by the tail. Can you guess who that is? Mr. Freddy Cougar. Because not only has Jason returned, so has Freddy. Now we're going to S-Mart. And of course we have the typical dumbass teenagers. I believe the blonde one's Carrie, and the other ones are called Dingus 1 and Dingus 2. Of course, they're making the appropriate gestures with the candy canes because it's the Christmas season, which I also thought that'd be a little funny little joke that since we're doing this on Halloween, but it's actually Christmas there. And of course, the manager is the typical dick, and these guys are the typical dick employees. Now we find out what happened to Freddy's head. It's right by his mom's in Jason's little cabin. and he kind of piles up the bodies. I actually don't know what he does with them. I've always wondered that. But anyways, here comes Freddy playing his little mind games on Jason. And I kind of love how, like, Freddy's the puppet master. Freddy's the brains of the, sort of the brains. And he's manipulating Jason, of course, through his dreams, haunting him. And this is kind of a throwback to Jason versus Freddy. And kind of an unnecessary one, but it's cool, it's understandable. And of course, there's Freddy putting it to Jason's mom. There's no other nice way of saying that. They're doing a little bump and grind. But anyways, this is where Freddy starts laying out the idea for Jason to get the Necronomicon, as Ash pulls in to S-Mart, where he's desperately needed to make things go right, and to make sure them shelves are neat and looking tight. Because that's what Ash does, y'all. Kicks ass and works at S-Mart. And I love the cover art for this. Like, I love all the cover art. It looks really cool. And I love how every character just seems to be represented in their own world. And of course, you get to meet Ash. Ash Williams. And of course, he meets Dingus 1, Dingus 2, and a bunch of girls who just are basically just the typical trope 80s girls. And I love when Jason comes upon them. Freddy manipulates Jason's mind, which I don't even see why he has to. I mean, Jason's going to kill them anyways, but I guess Freddy's going to have a little fun. Because, well, tormenting people is what Freddy does. And cutting people in half, apparently, is what Jason does. Whack! There went Paris! And she's flying into pieces. I'm going to do that. And those two girls have a little meeting of the mind as Jason slams their heads together. And as good old Ash is getting familiar with the territory, there's a loud scream, blood. He finds a nice puddle of girl, and of course the cops arrest him because everyone seems to blame Ash for everything in the freaking world. Kid skins his knee and Ash gets the blame. But of course, Ash talks his way out of it, goes back to work at S-Mart, doing what he does best. And there's a little exposition from the employees, you know, where he's getting to know them. You know, he's telling them how wonderful he is and basically just hitting on the chick. And I love how the guys are planning to scare the crap out of them. So Dingus 1 decides to put on a Jason mask and a hockey stick, and Ash just hands him his ass. It's kind of funny. He just kicks him over and just boom. Because Ash, at this point, has been through all 3 parts of Evil Dead. So, Ash knows how to kick some ass. And we're heading back to Jason and Freddy, where Freddy's reading little Jason a bedtime story, which is actually motivation for him to get the Necronomicon. Freddy needs the Necronomicon so he can come back to the physical world and take power. Now, these idiots are actually singing around Camp Crystal Lake. I mean, why? Of course, Jason impels one of the idiots with a "Do Not Enter" sign, and he proceeds to spread a little holiday cheer. Ho ho ho, ch ch ch, whack! One swing, all 3 heads, and heaven and nature sing, and we're getting back to S-Mart and checking out the size of that chainsaw. And apparently that chick is checking out something else. And we're just going to name this one Random Girl, because that's basically what it is. She tricks Ash into getting beer, you know, hitting on him a little bit, throwing a little butt to him, and then she just drives off. Poor Ash. Now, they pull up to a familiar house, if you've seen Jason Goes to Hell. And it always seems like these kids always seem to screw in the worst places possible. Ash on the hunt for the Necronomicon and possibly a little revenge for getting ripped off for the beer. Of course, goes into the basement, because where else would the Necronomicon be but the seller? That's a nice little throwback to Evil Dead. And of course, Jason starts doing his thing, murdering all the horny teenagers, crushing, disemboweling, ripping apart. And he just interrupted that tender moment as Ash finds the Necronomicon. And it's a good thing Ash does find the Necronomicon before it falls into the wrong hands. Like Jason. Oh no. Ash realizes that he's in trouble. He starts looking around, sees all the dead bodies, realizes some major shit's going down, and decides to hightail it out. But before, a random girl shoves into him. He gives her a little kiss because why not? She was already screwing one random dude. Why not another? Jason comes in, starts trying to kill him. Ash dishes out his boomstick, tells him to eat that. They get into Ash's car and he tries to get away, but of course, doesn't start because Ash is just too cheap to take it into a garage or even have any money to get it done. And here comes the murderous Jason. And we're heading into issue 3. Hell yes. Oh, we're doing them all today. This is the Halloween special. And like I said, this is going to love blood and gore. So if you're just tuning in, take your little poobered ass out of here if you are not mature enough for this content, because I don't want to hear your parents cry. Now, Jason throws that big machete and he lets it fly, but Ash catches it with that metal hand of his that he made in Evil Dead 3. Clang! But that doesn't stop Jason because he's in full zombie mode. Jason just comes down on the car, crushing it. Oh, man, poor Ash. His car gets crushed, dented, messed up all the time. I wonder where he keeps finding parts for a car that old. But anyways, Ash jumps out, and from out of nowhere, the girl from S-Mart comes, Carrie. And yes, I remembered her name, because yeah, she has more of a significant role to play than Random Girl 1. And of course, they find Random Girl 1, well, what appears to be a blanket or a towel. It's just funny how she pulled that out of nowhere after she was wearing absolutely nothing, but of course. Now, Freddy's getting pissed off because, of course, Jason hasn't succeeded in his mission in getting the Necronomicon. And Freddy drills into Jason's mind and tries to look for something he can use and finds a memory of Jason's about the S-Mart and who Ash is. So, while everybody's chilling and smoking some doobage, it looks like, Ash appears and he's starting to explain the whole rotten situation in his own Ash way. And Ash is explaining that the book can help and that they need to use the book in order to send them back. But they have one problem. Someone's following them. Can you guess who it is, my listeners? Cha-cha-cha-cha. Yup, it's Jason. And he's here to do some shopping for a little bit of blood and guts. Whack! Oh man, I just love this scene, how he just goes to town on everyone, swinging that machete like there's no tomorrow. Oh, and here comes, I have to say, one of my favorite kills in the whole comic book. Wham! Just turns that dude into ground beef. You gotta love it. And there's the classic, grab the guy hanging by some sharp objects, leave him there. After all, it is the holiday season. One wants to decorate. Everyone's freaking out. Carrie's going, what do we do? What do we do? Random girl holding the books, like, oh, damn. And I love how Ash just turns and runs away. Ash just takes off, running. But he didn't run away. He was there to get his chainsaw. Because what's better, a chainsaw or machete? And he lets him have another one of the boomstick. Attacks him with the chainsaw, and Ash is making a little leeway for a little bit. Jason is stunned, of course, until Jason smashes the motor to the chainsaw, and basically Ash is kind of gets his ass handed to him by Jason. I love how he just grabs the chainsaw and just flips him into a bunch of crap. And Ash is like, oh damn, oh no, as Jason grabs him. I mean, it's literally like big man versus little man. And boom! Like, I always thought, like, Ash had, like, this superhuman power to take an ass whooping. I mean, like, I love how, like, in the new Evil Dead series, you should actually see how much damage he's been through over the years, and all the fights, and all the teeth that he's lost. And, of course, Carrie tries to make a little effort to do something. It really does nothing for Jason, because Jason just turns around and slaps the shit out of her. And there's Random Girl 1, as Jason takes the book, kills her, and walks away. And I love this. Like, the total, like, disrespected, or like, the contempt that he has for Freddy. He just smashes his head down, opens the book, and boom, Freddy comes back to life, resurrects himself, and does a little magic. And also, he does a little something for Jason, too. He makes him a tad bit smarter with the book, which I found a little odd that Freddy kept his word, but good on you, Freddy. Even as a maniacal psychopath, one must always keep his word. So everyone's gathering together, having a little powwow, deciding how they're going to, well, basically kill or stop Jason and Freddy and get the Necronomicon back. But as Ash is having a snooze, he realizes something. He has his hand back. Well, not really. Somebody's messing with your mind. And who is it? It's Freddy Krueger. Hello, Ash. It's time for you to meet Freddy as we move on to the next issue. Man, I love these comics. I love how the characters kind of blend together, how the personalities clash. And I love how Ash is having a nightmare. And it's just a throwback to the Evil Dead. Like all this, the cabin, his hand going wacko, except it didn't have claws, but, you know, I love the fact that it's like a love letter to the fans. And there he goes, takes the chainsaw, and another classic scene, cuts his hand off, except something different in this one. The blood turns into little Freddies, and as the blood multiplies and multiplies and comes together, it forms Freddy Krueger, who now, with the power of the Necronomicon, can exist in both realities and also warp it to his choosing. Now, I think this reality manipulation is limited to a certain amount of distance. That's what it seems like, because it's not yet on a worldwide scale. But anyways, good old Ash wakes up from his dream. That's the classic Freddy thing. And of course, Freddy gets to kill someone in a nightmare. And I'm going to say this. This is kind of the downer for me. I thought when he killed someone in a nightmare, it would be a tad bloodier. I don't know. The whole dodgeball thing was kind of like, it just kind of reminded me of Freddy's Revenge. You know, the whole towel scene when that guy's getting his ass whooped. It's kind of But, of course, Freddy kills one of the Dingnesses. As always. All happy, he returns to Jason and lets him know what's going on, and of course, who's in charge. And by this point, I think Jason's just getting pretty pissed off. But anyways, our team gets in their merry little car and they go off to the one place where they know they can stock up on everything they need. Good old S-Mart. And Ash brings out that large chainsaw you saw from earlier. Damn. And while he's admiring his saw, he also gives his little lady a kiss, and they get ready to rock and roll and go in. Now, I don't know why no one else is carrying any kind of weapons at all, but like it would do him any good. Jason comes out of nowhere and, well, basically just has his way with both of them. And there went the other Dagnesses. Oh well. And our friends all and they're trying to set up a little trap for him, but since Freddy put that little spell on him, Jason's a lot smarter. As Ash goes hunting around, rooting around for the Necronomicon, finds Freddy's hat, and Freddy's claws come out of nowhere and sticks right through Ash's shoulder. Because Freddy is in the real world. Like I said before, he's able to exist here on Earth and here in the nightmare world as a demon of terror, trying to become a god of fear with the Necronomicon, already activating some of its power, absorbing it into himself. Freddy begins to warp reality around him. as Ash and Jason realize that this is bad. This is really bad. And those Freddy hand knife hands come out and start attacking Ash. And I think, yeah, it's pretty good. I would have preferred the zombie hand, but that's just me. Of course, Freddy pops out now that he can appear anywhere. Jason comes in, because since he upped his intelligence just by a smidge, Jason realizes what an asshole Freddy's been and goes right back to trying to kill him. But Freddy, having his powers, opens the gates to hell, and all his victims start pulling Jason in. And we pick up at number 5 with all of Jason's victims trying to drag him to hell. And he's had a fair amount of victims, and I love how when his victims come up, they come up in the way that they were murdered, which really doesn't affect Jason, because Jason just starts cutting his way through them. He starts killing everything in sight, doing what Jason does. And Freddy is just trying his damnedest to get rid of him. At this point, Jason has pretty much lost all of his use, and he's pretty much a thorn in Freddy's side. But of course, Jason breaks free, starts killing his way through. And you got to realize that at this point, Freddy is just chasing after Ash, trying to get rid of him as well. I love that picture. I was like that big cloud. Like his powers and the Necronomicon are mixed. How the trees are alive. I love how they mix all 3 genres. Like I really a big fan of that. I love how the trees come out and attack. That's from Evil Dead, of course. The weird nature. And of course, Ash is being Ash, biting the head off of one of the birds, getting pissed off. Now that's the thing about Ash. He's pretty easygoing, but once he loses that temper, he's going to kick someone's ass. So he starts up that chainsaw and starts murdering the trees and cutting his way out. And as for the bird, poof, hail to the king, baby. Yes, Ash is the king. Yeah. And of course he finds the Dennises dead, cut up. Jason doing what he does. And of course he's looking for the girl, because in the original Evil Dead he had lost his girlfriend, sister. And here comes Freddy in that badass red cloud. I love the way that looks. As they're trying to get away from him and use the Necronomicon in order to strip Freddy of his power. Of course, the Necronomicon opens up and pretty much explains what's going on. Personally, I think the book doesn't want Freddy to take over, because he would fuck everything up, bring sort of unbalance to everything. And I love this throwback too. Boom, reality warps again. And where are they? Outside the Cougar house, with them little girls jumping rope, going 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. But there's something different about these girls. One throws the rope around Ash's neck and they turn into zombies. Evil little vampire chicks, and they start attacking and trying to kill Ash. I mean, I love that. Look at that, that's fierce. You see, now that's nightmare power right there. This makes up for that crappy dream sequence earlier. And of course, Ash starts doing what he does, blowing stuff up and slashing his way through things. And of course, using the boomstick. I love saying that. I'll say it one more time. Boomstick. As he shoots Freddy. But it's not going to do anything. At this point, Freddy's become uber powerful. He's become a living demon. Almost a full-on god of fear on this plane of existence. But of course, he has a few things not going in his favor. Namely Jason, Ash, and of course Carrie, who is now in possession of the Necronomicon. And Freddy, of course, manipulating the reality around him, getting the boards, try to crush Jason. And I don't really understand this at point. I think he's just stalling to just get the book back, because once Freddy absorbs the book, he'll become one with it. But of course, Ash has to stop Jason. He takes a shotgun, puts it to his face, and BAM! Uses the boomstick. Blows part of Jason's mask away. Now, I love the look. This is a very Tom Savini look. I love the Tom Savini look in this. As he goes in, he comes up, does the slashing motion, cuts Jason's arm off, and she re-grabs the book. And now they're doing the chainsaw thing, and I love how he's having that standoff. He takes the machete, shoves it into his hand, and they start their little Royal Rumble. Hell yes. And you gotta love the way Jason improvises. But of course, Freddy and Jason continue their dance. Freddy now with the power of just an uber demon, and Jason being touched by the Necronomicon for the second time. These two guys are super powerful, and we're moving into the 6th and final issue, the conclusion of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Ooh, goosebumps. Goosebumps. And here it is. And of course, Freddy's doing what he does, stocking himself a little sweet meat. As he's going to pick up that Necronomicon. And he's right behind her, and she could feel that heat. And Freddy's just toying with her now. And this is just classic Freddy. Just fucking with someone. Boom. One house goes. Boom. Another house goes. And she's clutching on the book, not knowing what to do. And Freddy appears out of nowhere. And he does this weird flesh is my flesh thing. Which I guess it was okay, but I think Freddy was just getting too wrapped up with the power at this point. He's trying to absorb the Necronomicon into himself. But somebody shows up and decides to stop him. Good old Jason Voorhees, because he's not dead yet. And I love without the mask how it gives you that Tom Savini look. It's very, very cool. Anyways, they get to rumbling, and Freddy starts using his powers, but I think they're limited. Without the book, he only has so much power. Jason, of course, cuts him in half. Freddy comes back together, and the fight continues. Freddy's using every dirty trick in the book that he can, every bit of power that he uses from the Necronomicon. And even though, like, Jason's starting to wear out, he's still not stopped yet. And as Freddy grabs the book and he's about to lay down some major mischief, Ash rams him with what's left of his car. Shh. I mean, his car is actually getting it worse than anyone else. Jesus. First Jason and then Freddy. Well, the fight is on, ladies and gentlemen. The fight is on. This is it. The Rumble. Ash gets out and wham, he hits Freddy. And hits him with a boom stick in the nuts. You gotta love that shit. And then here comes Jason, ready for the fight. And I love how, like, Freddy comments here that he actually sort of misses Jason because Ash talks too much. The irony in that, since Freddy never shuts the hell up either. And they start their little rumble again. I love how Jason just has that one arm with the machete and it fits him. Freddy multiplies himself and attacks Jason all at once, kind of dogpiling on him. And like I said, this is more of that reality manipulation that Freddy has. And just when they're on top of Jason, they're stabbing him and stabbing him and good old Ash is underwater. He uses that metal hand and bam! And the chainsaw cuts his way through and he is out of the ice, ready for another round. And good thing too, because there's plenty of blood to go around as Jason is slicing Freddy's apart. And I love how Freddy starts like, "You killed Freddy." I don't know why he said that, but you know, the writer is, I don't like, he does an okay Freddy, but not to my high standards, of course. And Ash lets loose the boomstick right through Jason. And does that stop Jason? Hell no. And the rumble continues as they get in their three-way brawl. Boom, boom, bam. And Freddy finally realizes, I don't gotta take this shit. I'm a demon. I got power. But unfortunately, the portal opens, words are said, and someone gets sucked through the portal, just like poor Ash did in part 3. And Freddy's trying to hold on and trying to hold on. He grabs the book at the last minute, but the book flies away, and Freddy gets sucked into the void. And see, that's why I think the Necronomicon was sort of working against him, because the book just went whoosh right out of his possession. And of course, Carrie and Ash are there. Ash gets himself a little honey. They pack everything up. and she thinks they're done. But Ash knows there's always another Deadite. There's always another thing to be killed, and evil never stops. There ain't no rest for the wicked, and therefore there ain't no peace for the just, and the chosen one has to carry on. As the Necronomicon opens up again, Jason lays at the bottom. And to be continued. This is Jack Slater. Happy Halloween. I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.